Yes. Hello there, Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director and Head Containment Specialist here at Site-42. And as we have done for the past nearly 7 months, the daily streak continues strong. I am here to open my office door to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning queries about this mysterious and dark place of employment we call our work, the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff that contain them, the groups of interest who really are kind of salty about this whole containing thing, they really need to chill out if I'm being honest. And of course, hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview. Perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. We are here for the next 2 hours guaranteed, 3 hours if I'm feeling zesty. We'll see how it goes. To answer your questions, but before I do, a little bit of housekeeping. Phase 1. King of ADHD, congratulations on being our #1 most punctual member of the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. Congratulations on being first chatter. Alongside you, Dr. Puppeteer, Colored Marker System Oliver, Ember, Junior Researcher Sally, Silent Follower, Aoki, Hunter, Furries in D&D, Dr. Darkstar. Everyone who I have just mentioned, thank you for being here exceptionally punctually. And thank you for being here as well as being members of the Site-42 membership team. We appreciate your membership and your service, helping boost our ranks so we can finally win the battle against the White Names. Now, alongside Dusttail Alistair, Lionel Messi, Candy is the best, Soph is a human, and Rose Lady. Thank you all for being here punctually, and thank you for being here just for being you today. Now, I saw 2 Ko-Fi donations came in right off the bat, and I need to answer those quickly, otherwise I will forget I saw the notification. So let me start there. Dr. Darkstar, thank you for donating twice for the first time, as well as being a member, through the Ko-Fi, which means that your donation goes farther because YouTube takes about 30% of your donation, but Ko-Fi only takes about 15%, so we appreciate you going through the effort. Hey, Doc, I had an idea for both a test and a way to make that Viper suit I wanted. We perform a test on 294, the test to see if it can create liquids with magic properties. And if so, in turn could create a Viper suit effect, as I call it, for any clothes the liquid is poured upon. This would also save us time, as we could have just a normal uniform tailored to my human form, except the lab coat, and pour the liquid onto most of it, and just have the lab coat be that Hulk Shorts compound you proposed. Well, that would require a lot of research, so are you saying you are willing to do this research? Because I'm not sure I can get a team of researchers allocated for your fashion sense, unfortunately. So if you're willing to while away the time at SCP-294 the next time it's on site, because remember, it's on rotation in different site cafeterias, but the next time it's here, as long as no one else is using it, because you got to let other people use it, but in the downtimes, I will allow you to research your Viper Suit Creationary Fluid, the VSCF, and see if you can find it. Test approved. It may give us some use out of that fluid outside of your suit, so this could be very useful to the Foundation. Meanwhile, Foxtrot, thank you for your 1 month member message as a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site-42. We appreciate the combat prowess you have brought to helping us win the battle against the White Names. Thank you for your membership and your service. Sir Captain Fox with the Tunnel Foxes in Alaska, we just discovered something on a raid on a CI base. You're not going to like this. I hate you're not going to like this as a phrase, because I would already know I don't like the information, but now you've created suspense, which I love in my horror fiction, but I hate in my action reports. Please, tell me what's going on. Meanwhile, Hip Gal, Grim Reaper, and Mary Melissa, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dr. Theron Sherman, I work in the Anti-Memetics division at RISA. That's strange. The Anti-Memetics division is not related to RISA. They are different departments. You are confusing me. Meanwhile, what do you think would happen if we applied the effects of SCP-055 to SCP-096? Well, that begs a question. Is the anti-memetic effect of SCP-055 a complete memory erasure? Or is there a subconscious back of your head that could possibly still remember it? Because you see, anti-memetic anomalies are fixed in the human mind by taking nestics, drugs that make you remember. They couldn't make you remember if there was nothing in your head to remember. And that means that the image of 096's face, although you could no longer remember it, would still be in there. So then 096 would come and get you, but no one would know why you died, because there's an anti-memetic 096 running around. Everyone would see it and then die not knowing they saw it. So, not a great plan. And since you brought up the Anti-Memetics division, I will answer Q&A and donos after my subject, but allow me to speak on my stream subject of the day. You will note the title. There is no parentheses, SCP in the, close parentheses, Anti-Memetics division. So what does that mean? What do you mean there is no SCP in the Anti-Memetics division? Well, what that means is that we are celebrating yesterday the release of the hardcover, super legit publishing deal of SCP author Quantum's There Is No Anti-Memetics Division book. You see, it just released yesterday. The thumbnail is of me ordering my copy. And so yes, the book is out. Get it, support an SCP author, because hell yeah. I mean, literally, Quantum, by his own claim in a Ask Me Anything on Reddit today, wrote SCP-055 and invented the term anti-memetics. You see, even when Doctor Who did anomalies that you forget as well as you see them, I believe that was after the Anti-Memetics division. And they didn't use the word anti-memetic. Anti-memetic is an SCP Foundation creation. And it's a quantum creation. And so that's, that's pretty hip. Anti-memetics are a known phenomenon because of us. But here's the kicker. And here's why it's the stream subject today, besides supporting an SCP author and an SCP book going legit. In order to get the publishing deal, Quantum had to take the SCP out of There Is No Anti-Memetics division. I'll read it tomorrow when it shows up because I'm getting it overnighted. But apparently, the publishing house would not touch a Creative Commons property, as Amazon and Netflix, we already know they won't. And so Quantum had to reskin the entire thing to be non-SCP Foundation. That way, it could be published. And I'm grumpy about that. No offense to Quantum. No problem with that artist getting his bag at all. But it just sucks, man. It just sucks. Come on, publish the book the way it is. You bastards. Now, there are pros and cons to this. Pros, Quantum gets his bag. Hell yeah. Pro, and this is the big pro, okay? This is the big pro. This could be a backdoor path to getting Amazon and Netflix, all them, to actually make an SCP movie. Now, it won't get to be SCP branded, but as it says in the SCP licensing guide, frequently asked questions, I've got a great idea for an SCP web series movie restaurant franchise, and I need to have someone lift the Creative Commons restrictions. Can I contact the senior staff and ask them to lift it for me? No, period. The staff of the SCP Wiki act as custodians of the community and the site as a whole. The staff will not and cannot, quote, suspend the Creative Commons license for any reason whatsoever. However, an author can release their original idea, which may have been written as an SCP, under a different license for someone to use. But the article itself will still be covered under Creative Commons. Furthermore, the idea of the SCP Foundation, SCP documentation, and all other aspects of the SCP universe are Creative Commons and cannot be unreleased. In an example, this means that Dr. Gears, for example, can sell the copyright to his original idea, Big Lizard that hates people and regenerates a lot. However, he cannot sell the copyright to SCP-682 because the idea of SCP-682, the SCP Foundation, etc., has been released under Creative Commons, which is no takesy-backsies. If you release something Creative Commons, no takesy-backsies. And even if he sells the copyright to Big Lizard, SCP-682 will continue to work under the Creative Commons of which it was originally released. So, what we're looking at here is essentially this example has come into fruition. Quantum has not sold the idea to someone else. Well, I don't know the terms of his publishing deal. I'm sure he reserves rights. But has reskinned There Is No Anti-Memetics division and done a whole big editing sweep that I hear has vastly improved the story from its online fanfiction serialized storytelling into a more cohesive novel. So I'm interested in reading the original and the new release and seeing what the differences are. But I just wish the SCP could get its due without having to strip away the community that created it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And so, never hate to Quantum. Quantum is awesome. Never hate to an SCP author getting their bag. We need our artists to be supported. But the way we gotta bend our backs to do it, there's gotta be a better way. There's gotta be a better way. But the better way is not through the big video production companies like Amazon and Netflix or the big publishing houses, because they will never touch that Creative Commons. And you know what? Hopefully, let's say the Anti-Memetics movie does get made because now it's released by a license that can properly be released by in the copyright without spooking off the big companies. Maybe then people will look into There Is No Anti-Memetics division and they'll be like, oh, this used to be an SCP project. I wonder what SCP is. Whoa, wowie, wowie, that's super cool. And so they'll go back into it and do it that way. And so it works as a reverse backdoor through the system. But one day, we're not going to have to use reverse backdoors. One day, we're going to Kool-Aid Man through that fucking brick wall. And Site-42 will be there either to help out or we'll be doing it ourselves. One way or another. Dang it. So, that's all I got to say about that. That is our stream subject. I will now move on to donations and the Q&A. Now, I saw a Ko-Fi run come through. I want to make sure I don't miss that. All right. It is loading, loading, loading. Come on, Ko-Fi, don't break on me right now. How could you do this to me? Marker! Marker! You did it again. You did it again. Marker, thank you for once again continuing your streak of a ridiculously generous stream of donations. I can't even keep track of how many days it's been because it's been giving me heart palpitations every time, and it erases my memory because I need to calm down. And thank you, Marker, for going through the Ko-Fi. Therefore, more of the donation coming directly to Site-42 and less of it going to YouTube. So I appreciate you putting forth the effort. For your first donation of the day, as well as being a member, you know what? I don't offer this lightly. I don't offer this lightly. I want you to go over to medical. And I want you to ask for the level, what is it, level W? No, W is the standard nestic. Oh, that's right. You need to get the alpha nestic. The alpha nestic, it had some side effects that are not for work purposes, I'll say. But they are very fun side effects. I'm just saying, you will want to read a book or play a video game that you enjoy a very great amount, or watch a movie that you enjoy a very great amount. Because what that will do, in containment with that stimuli, well, congratulations and thank you again for your generosity. Hiya, boo. Yes, you did in fact shock me, yes. Just call me Marker. Yes, Marker. I did catch a glimpse of that. I want you to get this money. Take it. Again, thank you for your insane amount of generosity, Marker. It's my last big donation for a while. Well, you've already given so many big donations, so well, thank you for the time that has already been. Jiminy sakes. How would you, the Algebralians from Battle for Dream Island, I assume you mean how would you contain the Algebranians? Bralians. Well, I don't know what those are, so Algebralians. Battle for Dream Island. Colorful, genderless, sentient beings resembling mathematical symbols, mostly integers, that originate from the equation playground and have seemingly varying textures. They are notable for their appearance in X finds out his value, the number playground chronicle, battle for BFB, and the subscriber specials and the power of the two. The only canonical appearance of the Algebralians are from the Battle for Dream Island. Their appearances in the pre-BFDI comics and subscriber specials are considered not canon, meaning they're not part of the central universe and timelines. So, we have a bunch of different kinds of them. So, the big question becomes, what is Battle for Dream Island in the first place? Animated American viewer voting comedy web series. An animated anthropomorphic objects competing for a grand prize at the end of the season. Premiered in 2010, has been amassed 5 seasons. Story of 20, later 21, anthropomorphic objects living in a fictional place called Goiki. They are living peacefully until a mysterious speaker box, the love below, holds a competition to win Dream Island. So, I'm checking out what this seems to be. And it looks like this kind of anomaly would be some sort of anomalous location, Dream Island, that we would have observation logs and explorations of. And so it looks like they would easily be contained because they're staying in their zone. And the containment would therefore be quite simple. But the exploration and interview logs would be our joie de vivre there, investigating the crazy situations at hand. Am I close to figuring out what the situation would be there? And I'll try to see marker chat to answer if I'm right on that run, because you know that better than I do, but that's how I think the situation would lay down. Also, while I am thinking this, Director Ethan, you gave me a mild panic attack by saying Unus Annus is back. But this could also be Markiplier's anniversary post of the Unus Annus ending. So, I would like to know more details before I concur that it is in fact back. Refreshing the chat. You need to look at mostly Teapot 20. It has the backstory of the Algebrarians, which should help a lot. Marker says Teapot 20. Is that a, integers? Where am I going to find Teapot 20 at? I don't know what that means. '20th episode of Battle for Dream Island, stylized as Alone. The Power of Two, I see. Episode said before and after the events of Last One Standing is a non-competition episode focusing on backstories. Characters, long list of everything. That's a lot. Cold Open, a planet inhabited by skate cats. So we are talking aliens. They are called Algebralians. Replies by going to another planet. Okay, they are planet faring, so we would have to make sure they don't come to Earth, otherwise that would breach containment. Like any other alien, all aliens are anomalous, remember. So the question becomes, can we in fact keep them from interacting with the public? When it came to SCP-5909, the giant 2.7 light-year shrimp, we were unable to hide that from the public, and we had to provide some certain disinformation campaigns. That was a bit crazy. Broken skateboard, drags them to a meteor. It seems they can travel between planets quite easily. That is risky. I believe we would have to form some sort of disinformation campaign teaching them that it was a bad idea to come to Earth. That way they never have the will to do so. We would have to find what they don't like and make it so that they never wanted to come to Earth because they think it would be here. That's what we would go with. There we go. I can see you guys a lot better now. All right, so there we go. We need to keep them away from Earth by any means necessary. In fact, perhaps the battle for Dream Island is a Foundation plot to keep them locked in an eternal battle that stops them from coming to Earth. Now we're talking. And Director Ethan, yes, okay, you have confirmed what I thought, which is it was the anniversary. Okay, good to know, good to know, good to know. Scared me. If Unis Annus was coming back, that would be bananas. The internet would erupt. We'd have so much work to do. That Markiplier entity causes a lot of trouble, and Agent Iplier is not doing good enough to clean it up. All right, there was one more Ko-Fi I have to cover before I move on. And again, Marker, thank you for your intense generosity. Continued intense generosity. Just as always, make sure you can still take care of yourself. Okay. Rose Lady, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, and thank you for making the effort to do it through the Ko-Fi. For your donation, make sure to grab yourself a Vitapack on your way past the commissary. Now, you said, once again here for the commissary, but specifically looking for cinnamon rolls for research. I'll find the best group of interest cinnamon roll and create better. Also, where can I get the book? So, there is no Anti-Memetics division by Quantum. It is available at most booksellers because they are doing it through, I think, Penguin House? Anti-Memetics division. Penguin Random House. Yes, because it's being done by Penguin Random House, you can get it through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop.org, Hudson Booksellers, Powell's, Target, and Walmart. An SCP novel in a goddamn Target and Walmart. On the bookshelves in a goddamn Target and Walmart. Can you imagine? And yes, please help yourself to our current cinnamon rolls to compare for later purposes then. All right, returning to the standard chat. Lockjaw, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go ahead and grab yourself some chicken wings on your way past the commissary. SCP-5140 versus SCP-682. Well, we know 682 a lot, so what's 5140 off the top of my head? Frozen corpses at Mount Everest. So, SCP-682 is especially strong against memetic influences, meaning it would not join the bodies in the mountain. Your opinion on it, Siren Head mistaken as an SCP. Intern, Inverno, it was annoying about 5 years ago when it was more commonplace. Now, it doesn't come up as often, so it's pretty chill. But yes, Siren Head is not an SCP. It is, in fact, simply a Trevor Henderson creation, which is very cool. Foxtrot, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a Chicka Cherry Cola on your way past the commissary. Sorry, sir. Comms issues on our end. They've been studying us. At least one of their cells is. The one we have in incarceration, he was just recon. Okay, yes, that's to be expected in the field, dealing with them. My question is, what can you get out of him that might tell us more about their operations? We need to know, especially if they have a bead on that rogue troop that has the information on George the Chinchilla, SCP-3086. We need to know where that troop is yesterday. Why are the Fae not considered some kind of SCP? Is it because there's just too many or because they're too hard to contain? Intern Derevo, I don't know why you think that's the case. You should read SCP-4000. Because, yeah, the people from the forest with no name are all over the SCP Wiki. Not just SCP-4000, but several SCPs and tales beyond that. In fact, one time, a Kentucky Fried Chicken got in a big fight with the Fae folk, and it caused some real trouble. Oh, it caused some real trouble for that particular KFC franchise. Lord Comedy, haha! Welcome to Mobile Task Force Captainship. Here at Site 42, we appreciate your newly minted membership and your service, especially the rough and tumble you're bound to commit to help us win the battle against the White Apes! Thank you for your membership and your service. Dark Duality, thank you for your first 2 donations to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a chicken cordon bleu on your way past the commissary. Hey Doc, I found this patch thingy in a hallway. Looks like a snake in a tree or something, you know it? Where is the hand? Where are those snakes? They cannot be in the facility. We can't go to their house. They can't come to ours. You, pick up their scent. Whatever if you can. Look at security. Just whoever that snake is there. Why would their patch just randomly fall off? This must be bait. This must be a double cross. They know that we'd be onto them. Be careful. Make sure that when you look into the cameras or you follow their smell, you're not affected by some sort of memetic hazard or cognito-hazard or smell-medic hazard. Be on your double guard. But wait, what if this is the triple cross? What if they know that we would expect that they wouldn't be so careless, and now they're walking around freely because we're being overly cautious? Bear down on them and get them! We keep tabs on the hippies. Damn right, Dr. Frogman. Just tell them that that thing is here. No matter how bad that thing is, we can't at all let them have it. Can you imagine what they would do with that thing? Ugh. Silent Follower, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a... What is that delicious caramel custard dessert? Creme brulee. Grab yourself a creme brulee on your way past the commissary. Hey, Dr. Sherman, you're a comfort in the chaos. Thanks. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Times are rough for everyone these days, and we're all just doing our best. But I'm happy I can provide a little entertainment, stress relief to those in need. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again to say that'll keep the aliens away. Yes! Oh, yes, now I see your master plot. Those algebralians would never come here if we show them that that thing is here. Ugh. Hate that thing. Yes, that is a wise strategy. That's why they pay you the big bucks. Ace, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a fruit by the foot on your way past the commissary. You know what the fuck about to happen, boys? I really don't. Rose Lady, thank you for becoming a newly minted member, a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially the research you will do to help us win the battle against the White Apes. Thank you for your service. Rose Lady, thank you for donating again to say, I said I was researching and someone gave me a clipboard and white coat. Well, that is what researchers wear when they do be doing that research. So, yes, if you're researching cinnamon buns, that would be what they are expecting, yes. Dr. Sherman, technically are SCPs real? Or are they normal and we are the real SCPs? Because animals have consciousness, but at the same time we are too smart. Intern Adam, I think you've had a little too much of the SCP-420-J today. You're asking very existential questions when things are actually quite simple. If something is normal, we don't have to put it in a box. But if something is anomalous, we put it in a box. That's all there is to it, man. It's quite simple, actually. If it follows the normal laws of physics, if it makes sense, then freedom. But if it breaks the normal laws of physics and doesn't make sense, box. Don't overthink it. Would Cerberus pass as an SCP? Intern Ray, a three-headed dog that served as the gate guardian of the underworld, would certainly be anomalous, that's to be sure. However, I do not believe that the entity known as Cerberus actually exists on the SCP database, other than the very super cool code name of a bunch of different projects, spacefaring vessels, nautical vessels, etc. So while it is anomalous, because it does not have an SCP document written about it, it is not an SCP. Could be if we documented it though, and it is creative. It is public domain being an ancient myth, so someone could write Cerberus as an SCP if they wanted to. Travis and Honeybun, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. You guys get paid? Remember, I'm Sigma 66. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sorry. Well, I will boost you some better rations for your intellectual well-being, well-doing. Yes. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. Sir, he has a shipping manifest. They have the tabs on George. They're moving him down to Georgia. Permission to leave post and pursuit. That can't be right. We have a perimeter that there's no way they escaped in the greater Northern California area. No, okay. And anyways, if you have a shipping manifest that mentions it, if it actually has it written on the manifest, then that manifest would be useless because it would be an iteration of George. That means that either they didn't write it on the manifest or they don't actually have the information and the guy's playing you. Okay, well, we will send out a more localized team for caution because, I mean, you're in Garam, Alaska. So let me send a team that's closer to Georgia just to be safe. But I think this is a ploy. Ace, thank you for donating again. What's about to happen is I'm only going to speak through donos for every other comment. Well, I appreciate your generosity in donating again, Ace, and continuing to grace us with your randomosity of generosity. Dr. Sherman, is SCP-049 still stealing the gender-switching stone? Intern person. The operative word there is stealing, and the answer is no, because right now we have a deal going with SCP-049. As long as 049 serves on a mobile task force helping us to contain and not destroy anomalies, it is actually perfectly allowed to utilize the gender-switching stone SCP-113 to its delight. So, As long as it upholds the rules, it's allowed. So don't worry about it. Q3 and Maple. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. How long have you worked as a part of the SCP Foundation? Well, intern Knight, I've been making database archival footage for the Foundation for 10 years now. In that time, I have gone from researcher to site director. Before I was doing archival work, and that's how old the Site 42 YouTube channel is. We just had our 10-year anniversary this year. Sheesh! We also, before then I was an intern. I was doing grunt work and archival as well. So probably about 12 to 13 years, approximately. Hey, Dr. Sherman, about that Eigenweapon I asked about yesterday. It's kind of blasting down to the Earth's core. How should we proceed? This is the same as dropping the sword that cuts anything, and we lost that anomaly. Where is the emergency shutoff switch? You built it. You built it with an emergency shutoff switch. Correct? Correct? Damn well better. Intern Soldier, thank you for your incredibly generous donation to today's stream. Thank you so much, in fact, that not only are you going to go to the Chow Hall, otherwise we call it the commissary around these parts, but when you get there, you are going to tell the head commissary employee, you're going to tell them that Dr. Sherman specifically ordered you to get hold of the holy moly mango. You enjoy the rainbow of flavors inside that specifically anomalous and unique fruit. And thank you again for your intense generosity to the Site 42 cause. Intern Sammy. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go ahead and grab yourself a hot pickle on your way past the commissary. Why do you not work at Site 19? Well, it's only one site of many. And you know what? Site 19 is just really chaotic. It's really exhausting, actually. Site 42 is more of a chill spot. Dr. Sherman, why did you start this YouTube channel? Did the Foundation agree to let you host this YouTube channel in another reality for passive income, or is there another reason? You under contract? Intern Person. The Foundation allows me to run this YouTube channel because it provides a great service to the Foundation. For the standard rank and file SCP Foundation employees, I provide great insight and knowledge from my many years working here, and I answer questions that would otherwise not get answered. Furthermore, when it comes to our sleeper agents or undercover agents in other groups of interest, it's a great way for them to stealthily get their orders. And finally, for the general public of universes where there is a broken masquerade and everybody knows about the anomalous and the SCP Foundation, I am excellent on camera as a public relations person, making sure that the public knows that the Foundation has things taken care of, and to provide a reassuring voice as well as handle any inquiries from civilians and or governmental organizations. Cursed Traveler, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a big bowl of duck chili on your way past the commissary. Joining the Foundation is boring. Just be allied with the Chaos Insurgency, then get yoinked by the Foundation, strongly encouraged to join the Foundation. How I ended up here. It is not boring to protect humanity from the things that go bump in the night. If you find yourself so unstimulated, perhaps we can arrange to have you transferred to a mobile task force to see more action, or to D class if you really need that life or death rush. Thud. Thank you, Intern Thud, for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a cornetto on your way past the commissary. Hey, Doc, how would you contain the X-parasite? Well, X-parasite is pretty vague. I'll try and look it up and see what it is. Are you talking about from the Metroid universe? Also known as Unidentified Parasite Creature X by the Federation and Eris by the Chozo, is an extremely hostile shape-shifting organism native to the planet SR-388. They appear in Metroid Fusion, Samus Returns, Metroid Dread, and the prequel manga. They serve as the main antagonistic force of Fusion and the tertiary protagonist of Dread. X-parasites are able to assimilate both the DNA and knowledge of other life forms, as well as incorporate those features when they take new hosts. And their single-minded drive to consume and spread leaves them a threat. Okay, so this is, yes, the anomaly that consumes all and utilizes it evolutionarily. So the first thing is to keep it in a box, that way it can't get anybody. That's the easy part. Just lock it up, don't let it out. Because they are native to a planet, our move would have to be to quarantine that planet, make sure no one goes down there and gets infected. That would be the easy way. Now, of course, if they did breach, we would have to move to burning them because we cannot let them spread. So, as much as we don't like destroying anomalies like this do get the burn treatment. So yes, a combination of keeping anyone from getting infected in the first place, keeping that planet on quarantine, which I don't know if we have an SCP planet that we quarantine from above because we can't go down the surface without getting infected with something. I don't know if that SCP has been written or not. I'm not saying it hasn't. There are over 9,000 of them, so it could be, and I just don't know about it. But I wonder. Ace, thank you for donating 2 more times. 1 to correct your autocorrect, dough. And second to say, I can't chat that often because I'm transferring to Site 527 right now to go and then enter SCP-002. You know what happens when people enter SCP-002, don't you? It's not gonna go great for you. I think it's a better idea to not do that. I don't know, your funeral. Intern Sammy, thank you for donating again. What is / do you have an opinion on the SCP Explained channel? Well, of the animated channels on the content farm spectrum, they are of the better variety than most. They often, when they do videos, On actual SCP stories, they get pretty close to correct on their readouts, whereas channels like The Rubber and Detective Void were very shove whatever clickbait they could and change the story to a much simpler and less quality writing scenario. So Explained is a lot better than them. I personally do not have a taste for some of their more clickbaity video concepts, but I can't complain. I mean, I have the X is not an SCP series, so that is also taking outside properties and making SCP-related videos about how we would interact with them, so. And their voice actor for the most of their videos, Hunter, is a really righteous dude and say that the company treats him pretty well. Obviously, he has some complaints, but who doesn't have some complaints about their place of employment? So, overall, I think they are decent. Intern Bruce, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a side of fries on your way past the commissary. SCP-069 escaped. I mean, that doesn't make sense. An entity that is a guy who can copy the body and mind of whoever has died next to it would seem like it's a dangerous spying threat, but all it ever wants to do is fulfill the last rites and unfinished business of whoever it's copying. So really, it's not that much of a threat. Let's just find it and put it back in its box, I guess. Ever since I found out about the SCP, I wanted to know how his SCP codes are chosen. Can you tell me? Intern Debleent. I would gladly answer your question, but I don't quite understand it. What do you mean SCP codes are chosen? Can you elaborate on that? Ace, thank you for donating again to say, I hate Keter duty. Don't we all, buddy? Don't we all? Hey, Dr. Sherman, it was a prank. The Eigen weapon is drilling to Earth's core in our test universe. I got you so good. I should probably make more emergency shutdown buttons. Okay, I am glad to hear that the Earth is not going to explode. Don't scare me like that. Also, a quick tangent. Site-42 staff, congratulations. You have gotten the likes above the view count, which is quite the impressive feat because today we've had quite high viewership, averaging close between 150 and 200 viewers rather than our typical 100 average. So today's been a busy day, and yet you still got the like count above the viewers before the hour mark of today's stream. So congratulations, Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codename Signal Boosters. Because of your epic liking, we will have more people from the YouTube algorithm come into our stream, get confused about what SCP Foundation is that they don't know about it, and then eventually decide, hey, these artists are all right. Let's stick around. Let's hang out. Let's support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. So thank you for your service, Containment Hazard Assessment Team, i.e. chat. Debleent, you clarified like SCP-069 and stuff. Okay, so if you look at the SCP database and you look at the series pages, we are currently up to series 10. And so on series 10, I will take the camera in hand for a second, and I will refresh this page. It seems like the CESS for Wikidot is failing. Let me try something different. Okay, that did it. We're refreshed. So this is the Series 10 page for the SCP. SCP's 9000 through 99999. 9999, 4 nines. And so as I scroll down, you see a bunch of titles, but you'll also see Access Denied. Access Denied means that there is no SCP story there, so it is a blank slot. And so whenever someone writes an SCP, once they are done, they choose from a blank slot. Now, sometimes an SCP author will choose to write their SCP's number as something meaningful. Now, maybe the number is meaningful to the anomaly in question. It has some thematic meaning. Sometimes it has a meaning to the author. For instance, my first SCP article was SCP-3086, and that's because I was born on the 3rd of August in 1986. So I just used my birthday as my first SCP year. Other people, if they're writing a take on an article, will reuse the number from a previous article somewhat. So you get like SCP-682 is a story, and then SCP-6820 is a kind of sequel story to it. SCP-231 is a story, and then SCP-2317 is a spiritual sequel. Not an exact sequel, but a sideways sequel, so to speak. So that is how that goes. Intern Sammy, I'm jumping to your dono. Thank you for donating again to say the current background music is a song called Roulette by Slowgramming. Slowgramming is the experimental music project of friend of the channel and fellow SCP author Billith. So you can check out Slowgramming on YouTube, Spotify, and Bandcamp. Here on the channel, we use a playlist Billith made especially for us called Middle Distance. And the Slowgramming Middle Distance playlist has all the songs about the same volume so that they weave in and out, but they do not get too loud or too quiet. Ace, thank you for donating again. So apparently SCP-002 is getting super unstable. That's not good. What happens when 002, the flesh room, gets unstable? What does that mean? Is it leaking? Is it growing its effect area? That would not be good. Terragol, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a wafer thin mint on your way past the commissary. SCP-682 is gone. No damage, no signs of containment breaches. He's just like gone. He was never in containment. Dude, you know 682 is an SCP. It's an anomaly, which means it's an object, not a person. It's not a he, it's not a she, it is an it. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Thank you. Like, it was never in containment to begin with. What should we do? Well, it seems that someone from a higher pataphysical level than us may be trying to delete 682 from existence. However, that doesn't normally last for very long, so I'm sure it will pop back to bother us later. Ace, thank you for donating again to add on. It means its dimension is morphing with ours. That's not a good thing. Should we get some reality anchors on there? Can that help? Do we have a ritual? Can thaumaturgical department get in there? Intern Sammy, thank you for donating again to say, I think 682 adapted to space and time. That doesn't sound good either. It sounds like it would then be able to just... the entire universe. It's not really great for us. Let's hope you're wrong. Alex Mercer would be a Keter class, definitely. Intern Taylor, I disagree. Because we could just put it in a diving bell and contain it in a waterproofed area that it can't get through since it can't swim, and water defeats it. So actually it's Euclid and pretty easy to contain. How do you spell pataphysical? You're very close, Tiger Claws. It's P-A-T-A, and then the word physical. P-H-Y-S-I-C-A-L. Terragal, thanking you for donating again to apologize. Sorry about calling it he, I momentarily forgot. You are forgiven. What entity from the SCP is the most powerful in your own thoughts? Intern Danger, the answer is quite simple. SCP-6101 is the most powerful SCP. And in fact, if you read SCP-6101's documentation, the first line of its description is, SCP-6101 is the most powerful SCP. There's really not much of a debate of it at all. Tenzoms, welcome to Level 1 Researchership here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Thank you for helping us to continue our battle against the White Names. Again, remember staff giving SCPs he, she pronouns. You can potentially form a bond which can lead to containment breaches. Indeed, if you humanize the anomalies, you're gonna feel guilty for containing a fellow human. That's not good. So we call them its. That way we don't get attached. That way we can remain cold but not cruel and do our job of containing them without parole forever. That's just how it be. Intern Sane, thank you for donating again. What if 682 adapts to SCP-6101, the strongest SCP? Well, that's why we can never allow 682 near Ethan Prosper. If we allow 682 near Ethan Prosper, who knows what it will be capable of? Can SCP-106 get out of the SCP Foundation? Well, it does escape from time to time in bad scenarios, but our containment procedures have a high efficacy percentage. So, as of now, it's pretty well contained. I mean, yeah, we have to femur break a D-class now and again, but that's just the way the D-class's femur crumbles. Does 106 have a photo of its wife in its cell? Dr. Frogman, I have never noticed 106 to have any sort of photograph with it. It seems single-minded on the hunt these days. Dr. Sherman, what do you think about Vanguard from the No Return canon? Well, unfortunately for me, I'm not very familiar with Vanguard. It's not a section of the SCP lore that I have dove into particularly. But looking at the No Return hub as a quick glance, yes, this is of course part of the SCP-6500 series and the multiple timelines. Dr. Dan goes to Washington. Vanguard makes its debut, revealing itself to the world and slashing the veil in a global announcement. And they're sending Dr. Dan. So yes, the SCP Foundation transitions into Vanguard, goes public. I mean, it seems like it was the best thing they could do. It looked like where they didn't do that, things got worse. So as much as I don't like the idea of going public, it didn't seem like they had much of a choice. I've been obsessing over SCP-2446 for years. Help. Really? I'm not even sure I'm familiar with that anomaly based on its designation. 2446, codename Mobile Task Force Lambda 5, codename White Rabbits. I didn't know the White Rabbits were an SCP. Okay, no, it's not. But this might be the introduction of the team. And there's a side tale that goes with it. The link to an interview of 2446-B4. I like the amount of side documentation they're doing to make you crawl across the wiki a little bit. This is very interesting. And it's local to me in the San Francisco Bay Area. So interesting. I could probably go visit SCP-2446 if I wanted to. If I felt like going in the field. Waffle, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a side of bacon on your way past the commissary. Waffle finally escaped his cell for the first time. I'm just trying to remember. Intern Massey, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. I want to check on something here. Waffle. If you were contained in a cell, it was probably for a reason, so I would highly recommend getting back into your cell before there's some sort of altercation regarding it. Dr. Sherman, is there any part of the Foundation I could work in even though I'm basically an anomaly? Intern, or no, not intern. You are not an intern at all. Allied Master Computer, AM. Anomalous artificial intelligences are in the department of the Artificial Intelligence Applications Division of the Foundation. So if you were to function within the framework of the SCP Foundation, that would clearly be your department. Sammy, thank you for donating again. Mahoraga versus 682 versus 096. Who comes in first and second? Well, I don't know what a Mahoraga is, but I do know that 096 beats 682 because 096 cannot defeat 682's regeneration. And therefore, while 096 would not be killed by 682, it would not be able to kill 682 either. So that kind of ends in a draw, you would say. So now the question becomes, what is this... Mahoraga can refer to a race of deities in Buddhist and Jain traditions, or the eight-handed, sword-divergent, Sila Divine General Mahoraga from Jujutsu Kaisen. Well, okay, that's a lot of syllables. What the hell is this thing? Most powerful Shikigami of the Ten Shadows technique. Throughout its entire history, no user of the Ten Shadows except Sukuna has been able to tame it. Conjured by the user using an incantation. Strength to shatter concrete or hit someone through multiple buildings. 682 doesn't care about that. Sword of extermination. Enveloped in positive energy, making it especially effective against cursed spirits. Adaptation to any and all phenomena made visible through the turning of its wheel. General is hit by a particular attack, the wheel turns once the attack is analyzed, and Mahoraga adapts. If the avatar uses that same technique again, it will be countered. Adaptations can be defensive in nature, auxiliary, as well as offensive. The answer to your question is 682 wins because 682 has meta bullshit. And you can never fuck with meta bullshit. Getting deleted from the wiki cannot defeat SCP-682. Unfortunately, that's the kind of stupid that we're looking at here. When deleted from the universe, 682 just pops into existence. So it really doesn't matter what this thing can do unless it can go to a high enough pataphysical layer a la SCP-3812 to erase the entire SCP Wiki and those who created it from above them, then 682 would not have a problem. And as Desk points out to me very quickly, it has to be summoned and controlled to be functional. And if 682 kills the guy controlling it, well, it's over. So, easy does. See, there's the difference. I'm looking at the weaknesses. I'm looking at the stats. And Desk is here like, no, that's just done. There's a very practical way to handle this. That's the difference between the highfalutin researchers and, well, a Desk. Waffle, thank you for donating again. To deny getting back into your cell, I'm warning you. Bad things will happen if you do not return to your containment cell. Ace, thank you for donating again. Should I be an SCP since I know everything about the universe and all its quirks and functions after going into SCP, I think, 028? Well, you are affected by an anomaly, but that doesn't make you an SCP in and of itself. Remember, even in the SCP universe, anomalies are not SCPs unless they have an SCP document written about them. Dr. Clef is not an SCP, although Clef is very anomalous. Sammy, thank you for donating again to ask, why does 682 not adapt to physics/time? Well, how does one adapt to physics/time in a way that you're speaking of? And who's to say it doesn't? Intern Heck. Hi. Rose Lady, thank you for donating again to the Ko-Fi. I'm off to bed, good night. Also, is Clef actually anomalous, or is it bleed over from his sprog? Well, I would need to know what a sprog is. I have never heard that term before in my life. What is a sprog? Also, Dark Duality, you seem to have donated to the Ko-Fi and I missed the notification, so thank you again. Yeah, Site 19 is way too chaotic, too many breaches. I was there first when I came to the Foundation, went through a lot of testing. I was an IT back then. Saw the stairwell creature face thing, leaving its place, and grab a junior scientist. Whoa, that's new. I haven't heard that log. Woof. Define sprog for Rose Lady. Sprog is Danish for the word language. Child, kid, okay. I have not heard that slang for one of the chitlins before. So Dr. Clef has clear anomalous qualities. First of all, his face's inability to have picture or video taken of it, except in rare circumstances. The anomalous reality sync ability comes to mind. So yes, Clef is quite anomalous. Waffle, thank you for donating again to deny following the rules and ask me to stop clicking my pen because it hurts you. You know, I'm not feeling quite generous to do what you're asking when you are breaking clear protocols here. Intern Sammy, thank you for donating again to say. 682 adapts to Wiki to come back. Can he remove SCPs? It's an it. Please practice proper pronoun pronouns protocols at the Foundation. 682 is an it, not a he. And I do not know that 682 has been able to affect the Wiki's database in any sense other than regenerating itself to the database. But I would have to look more into 6820 because I feel like that got very dramatic and there might be something in there about it, but I'm not sure. Do you actually work for the SPC Foundation? Intern Football, I do not work for the Shark Punching Center. The SPC is down the coast. Big, shimmering skyscraper in the shape of a closed fist. You can't miss it. That's the SPC down there. 6820 gave itself its new footnotes, its own footnotes. So does that count? Well, it does. It is able to edit its own document. The question becomes, can it edit other documents? Because many SCPs can edit their own documentation in ways, but those are more info hazardous and less meta contact with the pataphysical layers, so to speak. Help, I'm being chased by SCP-096. Intern Nerd, I want you to turn on your local GPS tracker. Not so we can help you. No, you're dead. But so that when you are done running and dead, then we can bag 096 and put it back into containment. Jonathan, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab as well as being a member, make sure to grab yourself some toffee on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, Dr. Shaw replaced all of our medications foundation-wide with Perk 19s. Efficiency is at top line, but so is mortality rates. Yeah, that sounds like something that idiot would do. Annoying. Well, get everybody to medical for a blood cleansing, and we can get back to normal work. Intern Sammy, thank you for donating again. I work for the Chaos Insurgency. Waffle, I will help you. Intern Sammy, you are going to suffer if that is a true statement. You better be playing a ploy here. General Grimm, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a Choco Taco on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I seem to be late. What has been brought up so far? Well, I mean, you're at the 80-minute mark of a 2-hour stream, so we are 40 minutes left, and my oh my, you have missed a lot. But the big thing is the new release of Quantum's book, There Is No Anti-Memetics Division, 2nd edition, with a big boss honkin' publishing deal. However, faltering that in order to get said publishing deal, Quantum had to remove all references to SCP from the story so it wouldn't be Creative Commons anymore. Which we're not mad at Quantum about. That's the way the cookie fucking crumbles. But it would be nice if we could honestly get SCP to that level without having to sacrifice the community to do it. All hail Quantum and the Anti-Memetics Division, but time over time, we're going to make things better for the SCP community's ability to make bigger projects without sacrificing our community in the process. We will find a way together. Waffle, thank you for donating twice again. Waffle fell through the floor and in a yellow area. Also, if you help me, I will go to my cell. Well, if you clipped into the back rooms, then Async is going to have to be the ones to get you because they are very picky about their territory. We can get a couple agents in there once in a while, but really they are super territorial. So I think you're in their custody for the time being. Intern Chance and Safe, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. I introduced my friend group to SCPs. They are going crazy over 8,000. Pictures of it are being spammed in my group chat. Save me. Also, have you listened to Lydia the Bard album, The Woods? I have not listened to that last thing, nor have I heard of it before. This is the first time. And yes, 8,000 is a pretty good article. So at least they've got good taste. New book from Quantum. Amazing. I will have to look into this. Additionally, were you able to look in the Mender files? I have not. I still have it here on my dashboard, but it's been a busy couple of days, so woof. But yes, what Quantum did is did a hard and heavy pass of edits to revamp the book to make it a little more novel and a little less just a segmented story like a fan fiction. Of course, pulled out the SCP details. But apparently, I hear it's good. I've got it ordered. I look forward to checking it out and seeing the differences from the original. So that'll be fun. Researcher Last, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself a chilaquile on your way past the commissary. Why does Site 42 commissary have a temporal anomaly? Well, how else are the chefs in the commissary going to be able to make everything? They need time. Luckily, we were able to get such a thing and stabilize it for such a purpose. Sammy, thank you for donating again. 6A2 adapted O5 plus perm and found the administrator. That is not how 6A2's biological adaptations work. You are being ridiculous now. Calm down. Your imagination's getting ahead of you. I wonder if you might be going under some sort of psychosis and need to go to medical. Are there SCPs that can be trustful enough to contain the others? Intern Inverno. What you're talking about there are Thaumiel class SCPs. SCPs that are used by the Foundation to contain other anomalies and or in the services of Foundation efforts. So Thaumiel SCPs are the SCPs that contain other SCPs. They are rare, but they exist. You can go to the tags on the wiki and search Thaumiel, and you can see the whole list. Why did SCP-096 used to be a hiker? Look it up. Intern Anna, I do not know what you're talking about there. I have not seen this database entry. Where are you finding this information? I see nothing in the database that states such a thing. Intern Sammy, thank you for donating again. I got a cup of special. Okay, so your strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck will all go up. That's pretty impressive. Good choice. If SCP-343 knows everything, then could you just ask about SCP-055? SCP-343 clearly does not know everything. We asked it about 682, it had no idea. 343 is not all-knowing, just another labeled card stating that it is not God as it claims to be. Just a reality bender with delusions of grandeur. Dr. Sherman, why are there more and more SCP articles that are slightly adult-catered and have many unnecessary gore, like that one Marshall kid from the anthology series, but in my opinion, still cool article? So, first of all, SCP has always been edgelord. Let's not forget 231. Jiminy sakes. SCP has always been edgelord, gore, sexuality, all sorts of cringe in its time. Let's not think this is a new phenomenon. It is an online creative writing site themed around some pretty dark subjects. So I would not agree that this is a new phenomenon. That's where I would take that. It's kind of always been this way. It really just depends on which SCPs you have personally read. Now, that being said, I'm a horror movie aficionado, and I have been in many scenarios, which makes me fairly immune to the gore and the overt sexuality on the wiki, so it doesn't bother me personally, but, you know, watch the content warnings for every article you read. Be careful. You've said several times about Siren Head is not an SCP, but is Cartoon Cat. Intern Spenno. There's an easy way to answer this question for yourself. Is it on the SCP Wiki as an SCP article? If yes, is SCP. If no, no SCP. Is Cartoon Cat on the SCP Wiki as an SCP article? The answer is no. Therefore, it is not an SCP. Hell, I am Dr. Sherman. I am on the SCP Wiki, but I am not on the SCP Wiki as an SCP article. So I am canon in the SCP universe, but I am no an SCP. You could say this for any anomalous object in any fandom. Slenderman. Not on the SCP Wiki, not an SCP article, not an SCP. Your pen is an SCP. Again, not on the SCP Wiki, not as an SCP article, not an SCP. Cartoon Cat was created by Canadian horror artist Trevor Henderson. You're damn right, Intern Jade, creator of Siren Head, Cartoon Cat, Long Horse, and several other very cool, creepy, anomalous pieces of art. But they are not SCPs. How's the floating hand spider doing? Intern Daigo, it's going quite well for the floating hand spider. We recently refreshed our supply of amethyst, and therefore we have a severe lack of faces being eaten. This is fantastic for us in every sense of the word. What does SCP stand for? Intern Sarge. Originally, the very first meaning of SCP was Special Containment Procedures. Because in the first SCP, you had item number, SCP-173, object class Euclid, special containment procedures. And that grew into the SCP Foundation over more and more articles being written, and therefore, it became also an informal motto for the company to secure, contain, and protect. But secure, contain, protect became so popular, everyone now thinks that's the original meaning. Is not. Why do people think the tree actually screams? How do you know it isn't just a rumor? Intern shenanigans. Your question is silly, like your name, and I'll tell you why. Did you know, in real life science, not SCP lore, real life science, right now affecting you, all plants scream when injured? They are living creatures after all. When you pick flower petals, you are torturing an entity and it screams. When you break a tree branch, it screams. When you mow the grass, if the screams were on a frequency that human ears could hear, it would be a massacre. But because they scream on a frequency that humans can't hear, we don't know about it. But what we do know is that this one singular tree, labeled SCP-4521, it doesn't scream. And in fact, it emits an ear-piercing silence. Beyond that, SCP-4521 has a healing factor like motherfucking Wolverine. It can regrow injuries. What's that about? Why can it heal like that? Why won't it fucking scream? These are the questions I look to answer with my research. You're welcome that I carry this burden for you all. What if I told you that I was deaf? Death. Well, Intern Grieve, we already contain a variety of Grim Reapers, and we are familiar with several entities of death and avatars thereof, so I would say get in a containment cell. Low key! Low key! Thank you for your intensely generous donation to today's stream, keeping up your intensely generous streak of intensely generous donations, and in fact, even topping yourself from your previous days. I can only hope in my heart of hearts that you are receiving the entertainment value and joy of soul that is worthy of such generosity. I do hope that I am giving to you the value in return. I thank you for your intense generosity in helping the Site-42 cause along the way. I want you, for your intense generosity, as well as being a member, thank you for that as well. You are getting into, you're going to go to my office, okay? You're going to start by going to my office door, which is currently locked. Obviously, I'm not in there. It's locked. But you're going to do, you know it, the good guy knock. And wait for thee. Now, that will let you into my office without the security systems activating. Once inside, to the right of my desk, from where you are facing, not from my desk's perspective, from where you are facing, there will be a bookcase on the right. And what you need to do is you need to pick up the original edition of Quantums. There is no Anti-Memetics division. And when you pull that out, the bookcase is going to open. And when the bookcase opens, you are going to find a honest-to-God transporter. And that transporter will take you to the wonderful theme park on the moon, where you are going to spend the day of your choice that you get off from work. All expenses paid on me. So thank you for your intense generosity and enjoy the moon coasters. Roller coasters in 0G really hit different, I tell you what. Or, I guess not 0G, but like light Gs. It really changes the feeling. Dr. Sherman, SCP Xmas-J has escaped containment, and there are now marshmallows a-roasting and holly good cheer in the halls. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. Someone get the turkeys. My word. Hold on a second. I gotta check the database for this. SCP Holiday Hub. So, of course, we gotta go down to the Christmas holiday. And SCP Xmas-J is not on the Holiday Hub. Wait, maybe it's in one of these other places. No. Okay. We do not have this anomaly documented on the database. This is intensely warning if it is loose on site. Yes. Okay. This will be fine because we know that Christmas has been encroaching on frickin' Halloween recently. So we'll just tell everyone that it's part of the marketing arm. Because the economy's going so badly, they're trying to make Christmas come sooner to make more monies. That makes sense. We'll blame capitalism. We can always blame capitalism. And so, thank you for the alert, Loki. Thank you for donating again to tell me that you made that up. Yes, I have determined as such. We will make this work. In the meantime, you enjoy those moon coasters. Silent Follower, thank you for donating again. We are the Eldritch Horror to flora and fauna. Oh yeah, if they had a second of understanding the universe as we did, can you imagine what that would do to them? Could you imagine if they already do? And we just can't even get that? It could be the other way around. We could get a more eldritch understanding from them that could really wig us out. Oh, okay, I gotta think about this a little bit. You're so pretty. Well, thank you, intern sniffer. I try. I do my hair all good. The stylist does their best. I work out, even despite my injuries. We're doing rehab. We're doing our best around here. Skincare game, on point. Everything we can do to handle. One must take care of themselves. Ace, thank you for donating again. Yo, I made a joke so good my commanding officer wants to hear it in person in his office. I don't think that's what your CO wants. You should tamp down your expectations. I don't think he looks pretty. I think he looks pretty hot. Well, yes, intern Rose. Just because I am asexual does not mean I am not objectively attractive. How else would I cater to my evil and sexy plans, as they have been called? Site 42 staff, by the way, as a time check, we are currently 19 minutes from the end of stream. 19 minutes from the end of stream, so get your queries in quickly. I've got to refresh this browser. It's having some problems with resources. Let's wake it back up. Doobie-doobie-doo. Out of memory. Wake up! I got Containment Hazard Assessment Team members to answer. What video games do you like? Well, my favorite video games of all time are old, because I am old. But Earthbound is my number one. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars is number two. Also, you gotta love like your Mario Karts and your Mario Party for some casual multiplayer. Good stuff. GoldenEye 64, great single player as well as party shooter. Coming to newer games, I just finished Expedition 33 a little bit ago, and wow, that game was good. Hashtag not sponsored, hashtag damn fine game. So pretty. And obviously, you either learn to parry or you die. These are the rules. Low Key, thank you for donating again. El Doctor, SCP-049 is wearing a Christmas hat now and is offering free, hands-free checkups. And now the site director of 19 is too. Help. This is spreading at a rapid rate. Huh. Maybe we'll have to get a counter cognitohazard set up. Okay, what is the source of SCP-Xmas-J? What are we looking at here? Would Krampus be an SCP? Well, Intern Night. I would highly recommend reading SCP-4666. That's, that Yule Man's pretty Krampus-like, if you ask me. Attention Site 42's Containment Hazard Assessment Team, please let me remind you, the moderator in chat goes by the name of Desk. Desk has a blue name, Dabba-dee-Dabba-die, and if you do not answer to the blue name, you will Dabba-dee-Dabba-die. So make sure to pay attention if the moderator is talking to you. Ace, thank you for donating again. Nearing end of stream, let's do it for the meme. You know what to do. I do this because it was my first dono on this channel. Well, if that's how you want it, Ace, I actually have a special stream-themed scream for you, of course, after the credit song. So if you stay for the credit song, be prepared for me to give the sign-off, and then Ace's meme scream. Thank you for donating to do that. What would happen if SCP-096 stopped being shy? Well, Intern Realm, in universes where we expose SCP-096 to the book Overcoming Shyness that we got from the Tenda Village, SCP-096 did in fact overcome its shyness, and then got really popular doing TikTok dances, which was kind of annoying, but not as bad as all the murder, so I guess that's a positive. Low Key, thank you for donating again. Mariah Carey is a part of Xmas-J. reckon its classification is safe, Amida, and caution. Well, we already know that Mariah Carey by itself is an Archon class anomaly. We have to release it every year, because if we don't... Ugh. So yes, it is our reason that Mariah Carey is released every year. Obviously, if you didn't expect that, you thought we were failing to breach containment annually? No, we're better than that. We do it on purpose. Old chap, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a spot of tea on your way past the commissary. Dear Dr. Sherman, are we cool yet? No. You are not cool yet, and I highly doubt you will become cool. Frickin' pretentious nerd artists. Okay, time to set the debate. Does Siren Head qualify for being an SCP? Intern Trevor Gods. The only qualifications for being an SCP are being anomalous, being on the SCP database as an SCP article. Siren Head has qualification 1. It does not have qualification 2. So it is not an SCP. This is not a debate. This is a fact. Low key, thank you for donating again to say Parawatch has found this stream. Oh, that I find that highly unlikely, but in the case that a member of the Parawatch community does find this stream, I am sure the Cognitohazard at the end of stream will erase their memories of this. They're not supposed to be here, and we can't alert them to more than they've already found. Who actually is SCP-067? Not the meme guy, he sucks. Intern Old One. SCP-067 is a fountain pen whose anomaly allows it to take over your arm once you hold it, and either makes you make really, really good art even if you have no talent, or it writes out your entire life story, your biography, even things you don't remember. And so the fountain pen does one of those two things, but it is in fact just a pen. Well, not just a pen, it is in fact an anomalous pen. But it is not whatever the brain-rotted youths are saying it is. Speaking of the pen, is there an update on Steve? We were not able to get any information on Steve's whereabouts during the time that his body was being puppeted. We do not have the whereabouts of who was puppeting Steve outside of an agent of the Chaos Insurgency. But Steve is in recovery right now, working on a rehab to get back into shape to work again. So Steve will be returning to work as soon as he is able. Intern Shadows, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a craft root beer on your way past the commissary. And since you didn't send a message with your dono, just simply thank you for your generosity. Couldn't we force the pen into the unkillable lizard's hand and just read how he dies? So first of all, make Intern Havoc. It is an it, not a he. Please practice proper pronoun protocols at the Foundation. Secondly, we have SCP-067 does not predict the future. It only tells your life up to now, so we can't see how it dies. Third, we already tested 067 with 682. That test log is in the extermination log. Desk! Do not scam monetary value from the Containment Hazard Assessment Team by claiming that Steve is dead. Shra! It's rude. It's uncouth. General Grimm, thank you for your incredibly generous donation. Not your first of today's stream, but an incredibly generous second donation to today's stream. My word. What I want you to do in return for your generosity, listen, after Low-Key goes to open my office door, security will be off of it for the time being. There will be a 10-minute window. Now, once that door is open, and you and Low-Key have entered, yes, Low-Key is going to go to the theme park, but instead, I want you to go into my desk. And in the bottom left cabinet is a mini fridge. And that mini fridge contains a special brew that was brewed using anomalous ingredients from the forest that which we speak of without proper nouns. This brew's for you. Thank you again for your generosity. Dr. Sherman, remember that time ago I mentioned that my phone had been acting strangely with messages? I have figured out it was SCP-1471. Damn it! It has been nagging me constantly, but I have been psych-avowed multiple times, cleared as sane, all the same. Alright, well, if you can withstand that thing, then maybe we don't have to put you on any sort of, permanent solution. Keep checking with medical. That thing gets really annoying, I hear. Low-Key, thank you for donating again. Xmas-J has the power to turn all drinks into their winter Xmas counterparts. Effect minimized by roasting chestnuts on an open fire. Will monitor. Well, you know what? That does mean that at least a little bit of benefit, I do get some delightful eggnog. And you know what? Eggnog season only comes around once a year. So we'll enjoy it while it's here, bringing us that Christmas cheer. Intern Tulcree, welcome to Level 1 Researchership here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Thank you for joining the ranks of the Green Names to help us win the battle against the White Names. V-Dubs, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself some eggnog on your way past the commissary. Is Santa Claus an anomaly? Santa Claus is part of several anomalies in several ways. SCP-112-PT for the Portuguese branch is Santa Claus's bones. So something must have not gone well for old Saint Nick there. SCP-1933 is Bailey's Santa, which isn't really Santa, but is a homeless guy dressed as Santa, whose bodily fluids are all Bailey's and causes your bodily fluids to turn into Bailey's if you drink them, which I wouldn't. It's gross and it kills you. SCP-3355 is Saint Nick. SCP-4255 is Santa Claus the Time Traveler. SCP-4666 is the Yule Man, not the same. Yeah, we got a lot of SCPs regarding Santa Claus. Low-Key, thank you for donating again. I've learned Dr. Alto Clef is maybe Santa. Actually, Dr. Alto Clef and Santa Claus have a long-standing rivalry. Although good old Chowder did have to save Christmas with Santa that one year. Golly, I haven't read that tale in damn near a decade. Intern Breakle, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a candy cane on your way past the commissary. Is the town of Nightvale an SCP? While the town of Nightvale is quite the anomalous area, it is not on the SCP Wiki as an SCP, which means it is not an SCP. The SCP Wiki's policy is only original work, so we would not take someone else's work and make it an SCP. That's not cool. That said, Nightvale is very cool. Why does Clef have beef with Santa? Aoki, that is between Clef and Mr. Claus. I know. I'm not getting in between that mess. Ace, thank you for donating again. Since I know almost everything after 028, I'm trying to find the pestilence, and the only thing I can describe 018 as not a cube. Interesting. You're dealing with a lot of the mysteries of the universe there, huh? May I please speak with 049? Intern Night Stalker. That is between you and 049. Right now, it's currently out with a mobile task force on a job. I imagine it will be back. No. Loki said that it was wearing a Christmas outfit. So it must be back from its mission. So, yes, just, don't touch it or you will die. But yes, I do not see why you can't have a conversation with it. Intern Shadows, thank you for donating again. If I was an SCP, what would my number be? Well, I don't know what any sort of anomaly you have. I am not familiar with you outside of your name right now. But you would be somewhere in the 9,000s, since those are the available ones. I could not designate. It would be up to your researcher to pick a specific one-digit stream from you. VW, thank you for donating again. Does the USA help fund the foundation, or they just fund the GOC and or the UIU? The latter. We do not receive funding from the United States government. Instead, we have private funders of various means that handle those scenarios. The US does fund the UIU. Obviously, they were a branch of the FBI. And then the GOC gets some funding from the US government. But I mean, look at today's political climate and tell me how well the US government is cooperating with the UN right now. Not great. Ace, thank you for donating again. I have come to the conclusion that the pestilence is free will. You didn't need multi-universal knowledge to know that. Everyone comes up with that at one time or another, but we have proven that it's not that. Otherwise, why would some humans get killed and some wouldn't? That's not how it works. Low Key, thank you for donating again. In the next stream, Christmas themed, and 049, Heart Xmas. Could we really do a Christmas stream this early? I mean, trust me, we're going into the Christmas season. Tomorrow is our 7-month anniversary of daily streams, and I have no intention to let up. So that means we will be getting into Christmas season where there will be a bunch of Christmas streams. Because I do enjoy Christmas, not gonna lie. But I would not go to Christmas streams quite yet. Not when we're this close to the actual holiday season. Maybe if it were like a Christmas in July joke. I used to love Christmas in July. That little marketing scheme was always very fun to me. Intern Guy, Intern Damien, and Intern Gladerix. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. V-Dubs, thank you for donating again. People have survived being attacked by SCP-049. Well, the phrase survived means that 049 did not get to touch them. So if they were able to flee, they survived. But if you're saying, has anyone survived the death touch, the answer is no. What's the SCP ball? I don't know its number. Intern Melon, you're thinking about SCP-018, the infinitely bouncing ball, I believe. Do you know SCP-5094? Intern Cute Violet. Miss J is a very fine anomaly, a very fine teacher. I haven't had a lot of interactions with the anomaly, but it's a good little app. Low Key, thank you for donating again. You should make Containment Hazard Assessment Team a Thanksgiving dinner. Homemade. Side note, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? So, you do not want me to do the cooking. I warn you, I focused on a lot of other things in my life, and cooking was not one of them. My cooking skills are not par. That said, perhaps I could supply a Thanksgiving dinner from the commissary for your safety. And the best Thanksgiving food, I will get some flack for this, the cheap canned cranberry sauce that comes out like Jell-O. If it comes out like berries and sauce, no. I want the cranberry sauce that you have to slice like a loaf. That's the good stuff. Well, my bank account got locked. Ace, no! Your powers, your donos are too powerful. Your swag is too strong. Your bank will kill you. What do you think of SCP-3001? It is a fantastic article, and in fact, the reading of it we have on this channel, myself and some guest voices, is one of my favorite audio productions for Site-42, if you haven't heard the SCP-3000 reading on this channel. My bank has looked at my statement with disdain. Oh, low-key, while I was traveling for MetroCon this summer, my bank yelled at me so much. And I told them I was going on a trip, and they said, no, our new policy is you don't even have to tell us about trips. We'll cover it. You'll be fine. And then they still locked my cards. It was annoying. Very. You would think that the Foundation would have a better plan for this, but nope. Just as bad as every other bank. The more anomalous some things are, the more normal some other things are. I finally get to hear, but SCP Miss J is one of my favorite anomalies. As I said, great anomaly. You have good taste. What a sweetie pumpkin that anomaly is. All right, Site-42 staff, it is the end of stream. We have made it to the end, and as always at the end of stream, I tell you my favorite SCPs. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. That would be straight up narcissism. We're not like that here. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site-42 Hub on the SCP Wiki. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're there, one tab over from my SCPs, you'll find some links. Some links that people are very often asking about. How do I find the link to the blankety blank? But they never search the spot where they are. It's maddening. It's intense. They don't lack the adventurousness, the bravery, the moral certitude to find those links. But that's not you, Mobile Task Force Site-42, codename Signal Boosters. My Containment Hazard Assessment Team would never fail at such a trivial task. And so, while you're at those links, you can become a Site42 Patreon patron or YouTube channel member if you want to donate to us monthly. You can do Ko-Fi donations or YouTube Super Chats if you want to donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the quickest way to help us keep the lights on around here, so we very much appreciate it when you can do so. But, reminder that if you're part of the Broke Gang and you cannot afford to directly donate, you are still an honored and valued member of Mobile Task Force Site42, codename the Signal Boosters. And because of your liking our videos and commenting on them, liking our streams and chatting in them, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that YouTube business, you make the YouTube algorithm bend to our wills, bring us more viewers. And maybe they're fans of the SCP Wiki and they didn't know we had a channel here. And so they're like, oh, I love SCP, welcome home. Or maybe they're like, I don't know what SCP is, this is weird. But this guy seems interesting, I'll stick around and listen. And that's how we get them. And that's how we build Site42 and our ability to support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. And so we thank you for your service. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one. It's a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, 8980. Content warning on the last one. It's a rough read. Site42 staff, I have been Dr. Theron Sherman. This has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Purpose. It's that little flame that lights a fire under your ass. Huh. Purpose. It keeps you going strong like a car with a full tank of gas. Everyone else has a purpose, so what's mine? Oh, look, here's a penny. It's from the year I was born. It's a sign. Ha! Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Do 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 do. I don't know how I know, but I'm gonna find my purpose. I don't know where I'm gonna look, but I'm gonna find my purpose. Gotta find out, don't wanna wait. Got to make sure that my life will be great. Gotta find my purpose before it's too late. The credit song is Purpose from Avenue Q, the Broadway musical. Be safe, be well, Site42 staff. Secure, contain, protect, and to fulfill ACE's final dono requirement in the theme of SCP Xmas-J being missing.